Welcome to the second segment of the English language lesson. As you can see, we are going to discuss comprehension and summary. This is very good as a revision for the SS3 class, but it's also extremely good for SS2 and SS1 classes. So, in the exam, you are given a comprehension exercise and summary exercise. Now, the comprehension and summary exercises, they come after the continuous writing. And one thing you should know, if you are going in for WAEC exam, you should not exceed 50 minutes in continuous writing. If you exceed 50 minutes, you are using up the time for your comprehension and summary exercises. And so you should be time conscious. And when you are answering comprehension and summary questions, there are basic differences, basic distinctions between comprehension and summary exercise. Now, the comprehension exercise involves the extraction of items of information from passages. Extraction of items of information from passages. The way you do it does not matter. The length of your sentences does not matter. What matters is that you extracted the proper answer. However, the summary exercise is an advanced form of comprehension. It's a very advanced form of comprehension. And this involves the extraction of basic items. Basic items. Comprehension is extraction of items, while summary is extraction of basic items of information in passages without paying the least attention to details. You don't pay the least attention to details. Just the information is what is needed. And that information must be, because the question is always, in a sentence, in a short sentence, in 3 sentences. So the detail you have extracted must be written in sentence. Complete, correct sentence. If you write in phrases, you will lose mark. And mark you should know the difference between the phrase, and a sentence. the phrase does not contain finite verb. The sentence has finite verb. So remember what we said the finite verb is. The finite verb are simple present tense of verbs, simple past tense of verbs. So these are what we call finite verbs. However, at times we add these, but they are inclusive here. We have the verbs to be. You remember what the verbs to be, what they are. The verbs derived from be: am, was, are, were, is, be, been, and at times ought to. So the difference between a sentence and a phrase, the phrase does not contain finite verb, but the sentence contains a finite verb. Now, another definition of finite verb, you can say that the finite verb are verbs that can stand alone and make predicates. The finite verbs are the verbs that can stand alone and make predicates. And you know that predicates is what the sentence is talking or saying about the subject, of that sentence. For instance, in this case, if you say Obi slapped Ijoma, so this is the predicate of the sentence. The sentence is telling us that Obi slapped Ijoma. It's telling us what Obi did. So in this case, assuming someone asks you, does your teacher give you assignments? Now, if you say, yes, he does, or yes, he gives. When you say yes, assuming you use this, yes, he does, or yes, he gives. Look at this. This is the subject of this sentence, and this is the predicate. It's telling you what this one does. The same thing here. And so, any verb that can stand alone and make predicate is called finite verb. So this is finite verb, and this is finite verb. Okay? So what we are talking about is the comprehension and summary. So we said comprehension is the extraction of items of information from the exercise or the passage, while summary is the extraction of the basic information, and when you are extracting it, you don't mind the details. You only need the details. You don't pay attention to other issues. Just the details that are required. And this is why in comprehension, in summary, any irrelevant word that is used is penalized. Okay? In most cases, the summary question attracts 5 marks per question, depending on the number of the questions. If you are told a story that when John was sent to the market, before he could come back, his elder sister, who has been sick for a long time, was rushed to the hospital, and on the way there was an accident. And so when John bought the things for breakfast for the elder sister, which is Mary, when he came back, he didn't meet anyone at home. And so if in summary you are asked, who went to the market? In this story, they ask you in one sentence, who went to the market? And in this case, there will be, remember I told you, in every question, there is a trap. They will use in one short sentence, state the person who went to the market. Now, in summary questions, if you are asked to give your answer in short sentence, that means use simple sentence. But if the question is in 3 sentences or in 1 sentence, you can use compound sentence. You know the difference between simple sentence and the compound sentence. So, if you are asked, who went to the market? Your answer should be, John went to the market. You see, there are other details. When he came home, he didn't meet any person. But summary does not ask you that. You can add in comprehension, you can add when John went to the market and when he came back, the sister had already been taken to the hospital. You will score mark in comprehension for that. But if in summary, you say, John went to the market and when he came back, look at this. This is not an answer to summary question. You are gossiping. In summary questions and answers, there is no room for gossip. You are gossiping. And the way we mark this in WAEC, there are errors that are called ringable errors. We ring them, assuming this question attracts 5 marks. This question is 5 marks. Now, this is supposed to be your answer, and you are talking of all these. What we normally do is we ring all these. These ones should be, each one will attract a ring. So each of the ring is half mark. So you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That is 7.5 marks. Your answer is correct, but you have lost 7.5 marks. And so you scored 0. So when we say that comprehension is the extraction of basic of items of information. The comprehension is the extraction of items of information, while summary is the extraction of basic items of information without paying attention to details. If you write this in comprehension, you get full marks. If you write this in summary, you fail. Because any irrelevant word is unacceptable. It is not scored. It is penalized. So, that is why, in summary, any answer that is containing personal views, ideas, viewpoints, belief cannot be scored. That is summary for you. And so, we are treating them together so that you know the difference. Remember, you can lift your answer from the passage in a comprehension exercise. You can copy your answer from the passage in a comprehension exercise. You don't do that in summary exercise. You don't do that in summary exercise. Why? 3 things are being tested from you. 3 things are being tested from you. 1 is the aptitude, that is, can you read and understand questions? Can you read properly a passage and understand the passage? Okay? Then, another one is, can you write what you have understood in a simple, correct English? So you must use your own English. And so the English you will use will be equivalent to your vocabulary competence. The way you speak, the much you know English is the level of the English that you will use. And the third thing is, can you recognize the main points in an exercise? So this brings us to what we have been talking about, the topic sentence. So when you are reading a summary, when you are reading a summary passage, be out looking for the topic sentence. And it is the topic sentence that you will summarize. It is the topic sentence that you will summarize. Now, one thing is this. Before you start reading the passage that has been given to you, make sure you go to the answer, because it is an exam. Make sure you go to the answer and read the questions. Go to the questions, read the questions, and then you go back to the passage and you read the passage. Again, read the questions before you start. Read the questions before you start reading the passage. This is because when you have read the questions, when you are reading the passage, you will know actually what you are looking for. Without wasting time, you will know actually what you are looking for. And when you see what you are looking for, underline it and then extract it. If it is summary question, underline it and change that very idea into your own English. Any answer that is mindlessly lifted from the summary passage is not scored. It is not acceptable. You copy it. But you can mindlessly lift in comprehension. In comprehension, you can lift anyhow. I repeat, in comprehension, you can lift anyhow. But in summary, the examiner wants to know how you can speak good English. And that is why it is determined that your answer in summary question must be in your own English. So, do not lift from the passage. Remember that there are certain words in the answer used in the passage which you can use. That is not penalized. So you can pick them, but not lifting mindlessly. Okay? Now, Because summary is the bringing out of the most important idea or point in the passage, bringing out the most important idea or point from the passage, these things are not used. Don't forget this. Let me put it this way. There is no room for examples. Examples are not used in summary. Figures of speech you don't use them in summary. Link words, you don't use them in summary. Illustrations, literary devices. You don't use these in a summary. Even something like, look at this, you don't use these too. Analogies, you don't use these. Nothing like repetition. You don't repeat words. Once you repeat words, you are penalized. And so, one thing is this. The way I advise students is, when you are writing your summary answer, and your answer is exceeding 1.5 lines, go back and check what you have written. There might be some irrelevant words that you have used. However, at times, the summary answer might be up to 2 full lines, but in actual fact, it is hard to come by. Having a summary question coming up to 2 full lines. Now, let us look at this. I'll remind you some of the things we have said before we go into this example. The comprehension exercise, the questions involved, you can lift your answers from the passage word for word. You can lift your answers word for word. Provided your answer is correct, you have your full marks. However, in summary questions, you do not lift from the passage, because the person that is marking your paper wants to know the level of your English. He wants to know the level of your English. And so, every answer you are given in summary questions must be in your own English. Okay? Do not add any do not add any idea of yours into the answer. Do not use any word that is not relevant to your answer. Remember, 3 things are tested in summary questions. 3 things. The first one is the aptitude to understand the message in the summary question. That's to understand the passage itself. That is the first one. Then the second one is the ability to determine summary questions. The ability to determine summary questions. And then the third, the ability to write answers to summary questions in complete, correct sentences. Remember, here is where mechanical accuracy comes into play. Seriously. So let's look at this. Let's look at this example. Assuming you are asked to summarize the use of dog to man in this sentence. This is lifted from Oxford English course, book 2, page 16, where summary is briefly treated. And in that, it said, summarize the use of dog to man, and he gave in various paragraphs the use of dog to man. And this is one of them. This is one of the sentences that has the answer. So let's look at the sentence. It says, like most carnivals, he hunts other animals. He hunts other animals, but unlike others, he hunts not for himself, but unlike others, he hunts not for himself, but for man. Okay? If in comprehension exercise you are asked, what does a dog do? If you copy this out, you score your points. But in summary, remember we said no comparison. This is comparison, like most carnivores. This is comparison. Now, the question is the usefulness of dog to man. So the question does not ask you about other animals. And here again, this is comparison, but unlike others. And the question does not ask you what the dog does for himself. It asks you what the dog does for man. So this is, now when you look at this sentence, what is remaining is he hunts for man. What is remaining is what? He hunts for man. And that is the real answer, the right answer, which will give you enough marks. So the answer to this question is he hunts for man. That is the answer. Now, if you want to show the examiner that you really know what you are doing, he is not naturally, it's not always used for dog. So you have to change it, and it becomes, it hunts for man. Or you say the dog hunts for man. Here you see, you have not copied from the passage. You just extracted the basic item of information. Hunt and man. So here, why you will change this, like I said, is the dog is not used, he is not used for dog. But however, in modern times and in speech, if you have a pet that's a dog or cat, any of them, you can use he or she for the pet. So using he does not make your answer wrong. Does not make your answer wrong. So I suggest, and I give you this, go back to the page 16, another page 16, the one on page 16, or the one on page 32 of Oxford English course, do the summary question, and for the argumentative essay, I want you to pick this and then write on it this is your assignment. So, write on this. Let's see what your points will be. Okay, let me give you two of them so that you will choose, you have to choose one, or you can write the two. Boarding studentship promotes Remember, you will have a title for your essay. Promotes better learning. Better learning than day studentship. Okay? So pick any of these two and do it. And thanks for listening. Thank you.